What's up? Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Absolutely, loud and clear. I'm just trying getting everything set up with the YouTube live. I think we should be ready to go. I just gotta hit save and we should be good. Give me 1 second.
Perfect.
Yeah, I think it's good. I think we're good. I think we're live. Let me double check. Yep, we sure are. All right, give me 1 second. All right, cool. Ready to go. Let me get my camera on. What's happening, man?
Okay,
I love that set of yours. The
thank you.
background, the colors, the blue, it's bright, it's nice.
Do the brick wall. We could do a lot of options here.
So that's yeah, that's not actually that's like one of the effects or whatever, right?
Yep, just a green screen background.
Yeah, I love it. I got mine all blurred out because my room is such a freaking mess and I haven't cleaned it in so long that it's easy to just blur it out. So how you
That's
doing?
fair. Doing all right. Been pretty busy. Things have obviously been going pretty crazy the past couple days. But
Yeah.
yeah, doing all right. How about yourself?
I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, same thing. I'm trying to keep up with everything that's going on in between also, working a full-time kind of job and everything else. But I'm getting little bits and pieces of it here and there. And I think you saw my video earlier. I came across. I was in a Twitter space, and maybe a few days back or whatever, and you were in there, and I was listening to the conversation. And I'm like, yeah, this guy is on point, So I started looking into. It's amazing because we're all kind of covering the same thing, but we don't all necessarily know each other. And I think that everybody thinks that everybody, all the YouTube guys know all the other YouTube guys, but that's not necessarily true, right?
No, definitely not. Like I've talked to Classy and Crypto King quite a bit. We all originated from Axie Infinity before coming into Terra Luna Classic, so another crypto project, and so we all knew each other from there. But outside of that, yeah, I really don't have contact with much other YouTubers or even people on Twitter that often.
Right. And I did notice that you and Crypto King have a little thing, where you kind of team up and get on and do some streams, right? How long has that been going on?
Yeah, so we've been doing that podcast. I want to say it's like going on 2 months now. So
Okay.
we're trying to get different people from the Tier One Classic community mainly right now. We want to expand that out into the future to other ecosystems and have other people on. And basically, just ask a bunch of questions, trying to get a better understanding of who they are and what they're working on.
Right. I got it. Yeah. I saw that you and I'm not ignoring the chat. What's up? Yogaba's in the chat. I'm glad you could make it. Pudgy, how you doing? Usually my streams are because my time frame is so weird. I just never know when I'm going to have time to do something. So, it's not like I get to advertise like days in advance. So everything's always pretty spontaneous. So we'll see who shows up, but even if they don't show up for the live, they come back and they watch it later on. So that's cool. I saw that you guys did an interview with Clan. Was that today or
Let's see, that was yesterday for me.
yesterday? Okay. What time? What time zone are you in? Are you in the States? You're in the States, yeah?
I'm in the States, yeah. A couple hours behind you.
Oh, okay. All right. I got you. I didn't get to watch it because I actually just found it a little while ago. How did that go?
It was decent. That was actually our first test of doing lives. Obviously, you have a lot more experience with doing lives, but I had never really done a live before, and so it was really interesting trying it out. We had a couple technical difficulties. We were using StreamYard as our service to go through instead of going through Zoom, So we're going through a different service, had a couple issues, but worked those out. And basically, the last just over half of that interview or podcast went really well. We didn't have issues after that point. And yeah, I think it was a great discussion. We talked about a bunch of different stuff, obviously, a lot of recent drama this week that we discussed, and then some other things that we also went through. And yeah.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, you say I've got a lot of experience doing live. I mean, I don't know. I feel like it's maybe been a few months or whatever. And I just kind of jumped in. I don't even know what made me decide to try and do it, but I just did it. I had never done it before. And I mean, it was a mess at first, to be honest with you. If you watch some of my older ones, I couldn't figure out like all the technical stuff, trying to get all this stuff to work. So it's, YouTube is YouTube. You get to watch other people do it. And there's an instructional video for everything, thankfully.
True.
And then I found Zoom. Now I have to pay for it, but I love it. I almost like it better than like Streamlabs or OBS. Sometimes when even if I'm not interviewing somebody and I'm just kind of chatting with by myself and I'm doing a live, it's just so convenient to do it for Zoom. It's so easy to share your screen and it streams right to YouTube without, seamlessly, so, it gets better every time, I guess. I'm getting more used to it, but yeah, you guys, you've both have something that I don't have. And that's like the technical knowledge of, you can talk about things that I wouldn't even be able to be in the conversation with. So as soon as you get like the technical part of it down for the streaming, yeah, you're going to be off to the races for sure.
Yeah, that'll definitely be a good time for sure. It was definitely interesting trying it. I don't know if I enjoy it more or not. Like, it's definitely more stressful because obviously, if you do a pre-recorded video, and you've done quite a few of these as well, where you pre-record different things, and it's like you make a mistake when you're doing a video, you edit it out. It's pretty simple. You can go and cut out things. Like, it's not a big deal. But in a live, if there's something that goes wrong, some issue, now you got a bunch of people stuck there waiting and trying to figure out what's going on. And you're trying to figure out what's going on. So it's a little bit more stressful, but it's also fun having the comments come in live. That's definitely a nice difference. So
yeah, it is. I don't edit any of my videos. And I'm horrible with the ums and uhs and stuff like that, but I never edit any of my videos. And I think that the main reason I don't do it, well, one of the reasons is just time, but the second reason I don't do it is like you've got a great stance, right? You're right in front of your microphone and you're like this and you're doing your stream and whatever. So now if I were to screw something up and I'm like this and I just want to cut it out and go into something, it's seamless, right? But I'm all over the place. I'm always like moving around and bouncing. So if I were to edit, it would be like, what I mean? It would look stupid. So I just let it go. You know what I mean? Whatever comes out of my mouth comes out of my mouth, and people just got to kind of deal with it. Maybe I'll get into the editing thing one day, but I don't really do it. All right. Thank you for everybody who's here. There's like 9 or 10 people here, or whatever. Maybe some other people show up. Whoever's here, if you could for me, just hit the like button. Don't forget to do that. And if you want to share the video, let people know that we're here. I don't anticipate this being very long. I just kind of really wanted to pick your brain about a few things. And yeah, as far as and I talked about this earlier in the video earlier, as far as the drama that kind of unfolded this week, between shots fired here and there across the line. And I didn't catch it, but I heard you talking about it. You actually had like Rex from Terror Rebels on, like showing he didn't have like tattoos or whatever. I haven't seen it yet. I can't wait to see it. But how did that go? How did that happen? How did that go down?
Okay, so that was a pretty funny one for sure. So basically, I'm trying to think of where to start. So I guess for some context for anybody who's not aware, there was a 52-page document that was released that basically essentially accused different Terribles members of being involved in rug pull projects and actively participating / it seemed like implying that they were to blame partially for the rug pulls. And so that's kind of the basis here, is that that document had people like Clan Mudhorn, it had Rex from Terror Rebels, it had a couple other people from Terror Rebels listed in there. And so I was looking at it going, okay, let me start looking through this. Yep, the clan thing kind of looks like maybe he was the, or it is the actual clan profile, but he didn't really actively participate in the rug pull. It was more like a developer rug pulled, and he was some random Reddit moderator. So it's like, okay, do you really blame him for some developer rugging a project? Like he's some random Reddit moderator who sounds like was unpaid, just kind of doing it because he personally invested thousands of dollars into the project. So it's like, okay, you have that issue. Okay. But then the Rex one came up, and I was like, I know some things about Rex because I talk to him somewhat frequently and we'll casually talk and stuff like that. So I've learned some things about him personally. And I was seeing some things like on the screenshot that they showed of the Rex profile. They blurred out the profile picture, the full name of it. They just left the Rex and then blurred out the rest. There was a link to a Facebook profile that they blurred out part of the link. So they're trying to somewhat protect the person, but there's still information there, like a location was listed and some other details that I knew this doesn't match up with what I know about Rex. Let me look at this a little bit further. So I started to look, found that profile within a couple minutes of looking. And on the profile, very clearly, this other individual has pictures of themselves, pictures of them and their wife, a lot of different pictures. And you could tell very clearly this person has a lot of different distinctive tattoos. And so I went, okay, from what I recall in my past video calls with Rex privately, he doesn't have those tattoos. But let me get him on a thing right now privately and actually verify this myself. So I called them and I was like, Rex, I need you to do something for me. This is going to sound strange. Can you take off your shirt real quick so I can verify that you're not this other person and
That's
make sure that you
hilarious.
don't have these tattoos that this person's showing off in their Facebook page and all this other stuff. And he was kind of like, what the heck? And so it took him a little bit of convincing because obviously that's a little weird just to have someone call you asking you to take your shirt off.
Yeah.
But he understood where I was coming from because there are some vague similarities between him and this other person. And so he did it and very clearly, easily could tell that that was not Rex from Terror Rebels. It was some other person named Rex. And so that's not him. They're accusing him of being part. And this is where I kind of went and got a little bit frustrated. And I'm going to go off on this a little bit. So I apologize.
No, go right ahead.
But it's like, not only are you accusing him of doing something that, one, he wasn't even involved in the project at all, like there's not at all a connection to him. And I could see Rex is a kind of a unique name. So maybe they made an assumption. We found these other Terribles people. We found someone named Rex. They maybe try to make the connection there because it's such a unique name. But it's like, not only are you accusing Rex of Terribles of rugging a project that he wasn't even involved in at all, he didn't even know about. But in addition to that, now you're showing this profile of another individual, and now all the hate that would go towards Rex from Terror Rebels is now potentially being redirected towards this random person who
Yeah.
has private information listed on their profile. And it's like, this is kind of messed up because you're not only just accusing someone, now you're bringing someone else that's potentially not involved at all into harm's way. And we've seen that things happen with Alex Forshaw and other people.
And this person probably had no idea any of this was coming either, right? I mean,
No.
it just out of the blue, all of a sudden, potentially people could be giving them a bunch of shit.
Yep. Like I'm pretty sure they had their workplace listed. I know they had like the city they lived in. They had their wife's name listed and like the relationship saying married to this individual.
Yeah.
And so it's like, come on, like you got to be like, I get that they're trying to. If I give them the benefit of the doubt and say that they genuinely believe that these people, Rex and some other people from Terror Rebels, were scammers, it still is like you need to verify that this is not the person, especially since you have the capability because there are pictures of this person and you could then verify. And what's interesting too is there are people outside of Terror Rebels, people who've left Terror Rebels that know what Rex from Terror Rebels looks like. So you could have gone to them even if you say Terror Rebels ban me from the Discord, they don't want to talk to me. There are other people who have seen Rex from Terror Rebels and know what he looks like, and they could verify for you that that's not him. But instead, now this random person's being drawn into the crossfire.
Uh, it feels like, and listen, I don't know anything for sure. I don't know any more than you do or anybody else does, right? But it feels like it didn't really matter as far as truth went, right? You're probably not aware of this. Do you know who Matthew Perry is?
Oh, yep. I've seen some of his different stuff before.
All right. By the way, Lunatic Lover 69 is pumping, dropping in, but he's probably just going to be voice. And last time I had him on, he didn't say much anyway.
That's okay. He's a pretty cool guy. So
yeah, he's really become a friend actually. We don't talk as much as we have, but we've talked extensively. Anyway, so Matt, I don't know how long you've been kind of up on this whole Terror Rebel thing, right? But just kind of a little bit of history that you may or may not be aware of. So there was another Discord group that came out of Matthew Perry's Discord group. So when everything was kind of popping off with LUNC, Matthew Perry had another group, and it was Prophet Hands or whatever Discord, and then he had a Shiba Inu Discord, and there were some people in there who just and all of a sudden all the conversation in these groups, particularly in the Shiba Inu group, was turning to LUNC, and that wasn't what the Discord was supposed to be. So one of the individuals who were in the group, with us and chatting all the time, decided that they were going to make another Discord. And they made that Discord, and that was, and they called it the Lunatics Discord. So they branched off kind of and did that, made myself admins, without even asking. I mean, it just kind of made us admins in there. At first it started off pretty cool, right? This individual was, really respectful of Matt, and we had long conversations about, it's good to start this, but remember that you kind of branched off from Matt. Don't take all of his, don't start sending people messages to get them over to your Discord and to leave his and stuff like that, right? And he seemed to be very respectful of that. Well, things progressed, and the Terror Rebels, and I'm sure you know that story of how they actually came to the Discord that they're in, right? So that started popping off there. And this individual really wanted the Terror Rebels to set up camp in his Discord, in his Lunatics Discord. But they had already, they had kind of their other ideas, right? And they wanted to kind of run their own thing. They didn't necessarily want to be part of somebody else's Discord where they might have to ask permission to do things or function the way they wanted to function. So they were happy where they were. Well, this didn't sit well with this individual. And so there started to be some butting of heads. And this person, if you don't go along with what they want you to do, you are now an enemy. And they're going to do whatever they can to try to disrupt what you're doing or bring you down in some way. And that's just the way it is. Everybody who knows this individual kind of knows this about him, right? And so this is what he did, and caused an awful lot of problems within the Terror Rebels Discord. Matthew Perry eventually left that Lunatics Discord. I eventually left that Lunatics Discord, but before we left, he started like he was trying to do like a poker game or something like that, where he wanted to burn some of the proceeds. He would be burning LUNC and that kind of thing. But there weren't a lot of people really interested in this poker game. It just never really, it was a good idea. It just never really got off the ground. And because Matt wouldn't promote it on his live stream, he became an enemy. And now there started being some things going on there. And then when I tried to explain or tried to get this person to kind of see reason and couldn't, and decided, well, it's probably best if I leave this Discord too, then I became an enemy. And the story that came out was that both Matt and me were involved in the Shib burn rug pull. They pulled, and at this point he had teamed up with a couple other people that he had, kind of helping him do his dirty work. And they pulled some wallet address from somewhere and showed a whole bunch of money going into it and this and that and the other thing. And they just told everybody that was Matthew Perry's wallet. No evidence of it at all, right? Nothing. They made up a big, humongous story, absolutely none of it true, all of it made up, and put it out there. And people started saying, oh, gee, wow, is that true? Really? You know, because people just love gossip, I guess. I don't know, right? But Matt did a video where he ripped them a new one, showed all of his wallets, and put it all out there and said, okay, if this is my wallet, prove to anybody that this is my wallet. And it kind of went away. They couldn't prove anything that they were saying, right? Everything that has happened recently has brought all that back up to mind to me, because these people are now in the TCV Discord. They have their own room. And if you go in that room and you pay attention to what's going on, it is conspiracy theory central. It's very, very ugly, right? And I had a conversation. Yeah. I had a conversation. You might know who I'm talking about. I don't know.
I know who you're talking about.
Okay. I had a conversation with Rexy about it, and I told him, I was like, dude, it's your thing, but I'm just letting you know this is kind of what happened, and this is who you're dealing with. But Rexy wanted to take the high road and be like, well, everybody's welcome here. You know what I mean? And we're just going to allow everyone in. So I don't know. You know, I'm not saying that there's any connection between those things and that any of the same players are involved. I don't know. But the MO is identical.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if it's a totally wrong Rex and he doesn't have tattoos or anything. It doesn't matter. They know that if they say it and they say it loud enough people are going to believe it to disrupt things, right?
Yep.
And I don't know. That's where I'm at with it. You know.
Yeah. And here's the problem I have with that statement from Rexy's from Terra C Vita is like, either, in my mind, and this is my opinion, right? Either you're going to take a stance of you're not responsible for what the people, or okay, let me back up. In my opinion, you're not responsible for what people say. So if people come into your live stream chat, they say some ridiculous thing, you're not responsible for what they say in your live stream chat. In his situation, the Discord, same scenario. He's not responsible for their words. What you are responsible for, or what he is responsible for, is what you do about that. Somebody comes in your Discord chat and doxes someone's private information, or sorry, in your live stream chat and doxes someone's private information. You have the power to ban them, take them out, and say, this is not something I want to have in my chat. Same with him with his Discord. He has the power to do that. There are admins with the power to do that. Now, he might take the stance like you said he said, well, you said he said, what you're saying that he's saying, and the idea is that everyone's welcome, everyone's allowed to say whatever they want. Okay, great. Maybe you're going to take that stance. Then in that scenario, why is it that that doesn't seem to be true? I have seen and heard and personally experienced people getting banned for asking questions. For myself, I joined, and I told you about this, I joined their Discord to investigate this 52-page document because I knew it was being talked about there. I joined, said nothing, and within a couple of minutes, I was banned from the Discord. Literally just went to check and see, like, what is this document? What are people saying about this? What's going on here? And was banned without even saying anything in a couple of minutes. Fine, fair enough. They can ban me if they want to ban me. But if then they're going to take the action of banning me because I call them out and they dislike me, fair enough, they can do that. But then I'm going to hold them responsible in that scenario for what people say in their Discord, because clearly they're okay with enforcing things and their opinion and their stance on stuff, which is fine. They could do that, right? Yeah. But it's like, if you're going to do that there, but you're going to allow this other stuff to happen, I'm going to hold you accountable then for the chats that stay up. Again, if it goes up, you delete the message, you ban the person, I'm not holding you accountable for what's there. But the fact that some of the chats, and I sent you some of these, and we could maybe talk about them if you want to, but there were some disgusting messages, in my opinion, that were said in that Discord that were left there for hours by the time I joined, got screenshots, and then was banned shortly after I got the screenshots. It's like, I'm going to hold you accountable for that kind of stuff. And so it's like, you can't have this, we're total free speech, we allow anything to happen, but then at the same point kick other people out who have a different opinion and allow this other stuff to go, and your excuse is, well, we let anybody say whatever they want. Like, it's just, it's hypocritical.
Yeah, it's either, you know, it's either free speech or it's not, you know. Yeah, exactly. It's free speech when it's convenient, right? But when it goes against what you want to hear, all of a sudden there's no free speech. No, I mean, I don't know that we need to really get into the specifics or details of what those messages were. Suffice it to say, we both saw them and they were disgusting. You know, no grown man should act like that or have those kind of conversations. And if that kind of thing came into my chat, absolutely, I would put an end to it. I don't want to ignore, I want to welcome Lunatic Lover, Your name is too damn long. I tell you this all the time, but what's up? You want to say hi?
Yeah, man. Hi. How are you guys doing? Is my voice clear? Can you hear me? I'm a little bit sick.
Perfect.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
How you been?
Great, man. Great. I'm happy that the funding proposal is looking like it's passing the 11,030. So that was nice today.
Yeah, I want to get to that in a minute too. I do. You don't have to mute yourself. This isn't like a Twitter space. If you're not gonna, I'm not really gonna get an echo or anything from you, but it's up to you. Anyway, yeah, I'm glad to have you here. I'm glad to have you, give your perspective, because I always respect your perspective on things. I think you've been listening so far to what we've been talking about. I don't know. You got a quick take on it?
Yes, like I've listened to most of it, I think, since the yeah, but you have talked about the I won't say his name, about the Discord admin from our friends over there.
Mm-hmm.
I want to add a point, because maybe it's not clear for your listeners or for the viewers actually.
Yeah.
So when we started this Discord, or when Clan started the Discord, actually, I was invited because I have been in contact with him in Reddit before, where we have been like ranting about the fork proposal, right, in the Luna subreddits and other places. That's where I met him, basically. And he just started the Discord, and at that time we didn't even know that there was like this other Discord, and I think it was even called ship and then /lunatic server, something like that. So we just found him later, like it wasn't that they were coming off from the other Discord, even though later there were claims like this, like you branched off and like copied us and whatever. But I don't think that's true, because he literally messaged me on Discord and said, on Reddit, and said like, hey dude, I think we should like organize in Discord. That's probably better. Let's start this. And then I think we started, and when we had like 100 or like 300 users in the beginning, like in the couple first days, then we found out that there is this other place, right? So that was how we met each other. And it was pretty friendly in the beginning, right? Like those guys would, you have been there, right? So these guys would
from the beginning, sure.
Yeah, exactly. So these guys would come over and like put their invite in our Discord, and at that time it was also okay, right? It was actually encouraged to be friends, right? Like have multiple Discords that are all engaged with Luna Classic. So it started off pretty friendly in the beginning, and my experience, like from what I can remember, what happened at some point is that once the Terra Rebels Discord was actually renamed to Terra Rebels, and then there was the first steering group meeting. I don't know if you remember that. That was pretty big, kind of, and then there was a flood of new people coming in, right?
Yep.
And at that point, it started to become sort of a competition kind of thing. I think that's also around that time when we met. You made your first video about this other weird group with all the devs over there. I remember that. I saw that and I was pretty impressed, right? Because at that time,
I gotta look back and see what weird group you're talking about.
Yeah, it was like these guys. I don't remember what you said, but it impressed me because I was under the impression that you are the Discord owner, which isn't true. But it looked like that for me.
No.
So I was like, it's pretty impressive. Like this guy is giving us all these kudos and is like talking highly about us, even though he has this other Discord, right? Yeah. And he's basically encouraging others to join and stuff. So that was impressive. And I was like, I have to meet this guy. And that's how I basically met you, right?
Right. Yeah. I was the admin of all of Matthew Perry's Discords. He's actually the one who talked me into doing my own channel, because I had a Medium. I have a Medium account where I've written a bunch of articles that he really liked and thought, well, why not just take that and put it in video form, so he kind of talked me into it. But I was the admin of his things. And then, I was the admin of that Lunatics Discord that I never really asked to be. He made the Discord and just made me the admin, and, I would assume it was an effort because I had some friends, in Matt Perry's discords. So I think it was an effort to make things familiar to people to be able to come over there, but anyway, yeah, that's old news. It's just that even though that's kind of old news, it seems like some of the similar things that we dealt with back in those times, those months ago, seems like
it's repeating, right? It's kind of similar.
It feels like it's repeating, and that's why it feels to me like there are some of the same players involved. And I don't know that for sure. I don't know that, but it's.
Well, at that time around, I think when things turned to become ugly, to get ugly, what happened was that you had the steering group, right? You had the Terror Rebels, and it looked like they're forming an org and doing all sorts of crazy stuff. And I don't think, because I know that because I've been in DMs with the guy in question about it at that time, because if you remember, I was in the Terror Rebels team at that time, right?
Yep.
So we were talking, and I was trying to keep things nice and smooth between the other groups, right? That was stuff I was doing at that time. And I know that the hate basically started when he was refused to get, and that's a quote, seat at the table of the steering group. Steering group, I don't know if Asobs know that was the old structure of Terror Rebels. You had like the normal teams, and then you had like a steering group, which was like sitting on top of the teams, basically, like a committee, something like that. And this whole thing started when he was basically refused to get a seat on the table. That's a quote, right? That's stuff I was asked for, and I said I cannot provide it because probably you won't get it because you weren't involved, right? Like running a Lunar Classic Discord somewhere doesn't entitle you to become member of the steering group of Terror Rebels. Like I don't see the connection, you know what I mean? Like you cannot claim because, and it was an ego thing, you know, like I've been there, I've started this basically. You guys are only here because of my Discord. That was like the argumentation. And I didn't have a say anyways in this, right? Like I actually talked to some people in Terror Rebels about it. Like maybe it would be nice to have some sort of associates or whatever. But the way he approached it, like you at some point you couldn't defend it anymore. And then I had to say like, man, it's not working. And at that point, basically, I became the enemy too, just like you said.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it goes down. And I've, again, I don't know anything. I don't know anything for sure, right? It's just the way things seem and the way things feel. We had this incident where prior to this 52-page document, we had this incident where, and it was, you tweeted about it, Asobs, and I brought this up in the video earlier about, some Terror Rebels names were mentioned in a tweet who had not previously doxed themselves or put their names out there. And that was bringing a lot of heat to TCV, but particularly to Rexy, because it was assumed that the tweet came from him anyway. And he tried to, I'm trying to remember because I had a conversation with him. I had a personal conversation with him after that happened, me and him. So I'm trying to remember what was in the conversation we had and what I actually saw on Twitter, but he was definitely trying to deflect the heat away from TCV. And if there was going to be any heat at all, he was going to put it on him, but he still, really didn't, buy or apologize or admit to any wrongdoing at all. And so the release of this 52-page document pointing fingers at Terror Rebels and trying to sow discord, suggesting that they've been part of, rug pulls and kind of screw people out of money, seems to me to have dropped at a very convenient time, maybe. I mean, am I perceiving that right?
I think it's important to maybe make a distinction here real quick, is that the 52-page document is from an individual who's not a part of TCV. He was talking about it in the TCV Discord, but he is not a member of TCV. This is a totally separate individual who made the 52-page document. The TCV official Twitter tweeted out the names of the Terror Rebels people. So just want to distinguish that it's not like TCV put out these names, got backlash, and then they officially put out this 52-page document. This was another individual who put out this document. It was just allowed to be talked about within the TCV Discord. I think that's important because I don't want people to think that like TCV is just gung ho, back to back to back slamming Terror Rebels, trying to make them look bad. They did dox the names. That is true. It came from the official TCV Twitter, but the 52-page document was another individual.
Right.
So I just want to clarify that. And it is like an interesting timing. And I think it is interesting too that like it came from the official TCV Discord. It didn't come from Rexy's personal or someone else's personal or sorry, not Discord, Twitter account. The official TCV Twitter account put out the names of these Terror Rebels employees. And it put Rex from Terror Rebels his full name, not just first name. It was like the full name came out. And so it's like it's not even someone else's personal Twitter that said it who's a member of TCV. Like this is the official TCV thing, and there's been no official apology released as of the time I tweeted about it the other day, which was 48 hours after the fact. There had been no apology anywhere that I could find, which is interesting to say the least.
It's also hypocritical because at the same time, basically, like within the same hours where they doxed the names, there was another tweet from the official account stating that we will always own our own mistakes. And I think a quote, we will always apologize for the slightest slippery or something like that, right? Like the slightest slip up, right? We will always apologize for the slightest slip up. And that was in regards to something I think one of the devs there tweeted, which was wrong at the end. He was referring to that. But to me, it's astonishing, you know, like you say, you're going to be straight and apologize if you fuck up, and at the same time you fuck up and put it under the carpet. So that was something I didn't like to see, to be honest.
Yogaba is in the chat, and he says, to his knowledge, that he thinks that person that wrote that 50-page thing is actually a mod in TCV, and I don't know if that happened before or after this document came out. But
it would have been, if it is true that he's a mod, just sorry, not to cut you off, just to clarify, it would have been afterwards, because I know when I was in there looking, he did not have a mod role or anything of that nature. In my screenshots, he even has like the normal colored names for the person who made the 52-page document. So if anything, I don't know if that looks better or worse that then he did this.
That's what I was just going to say.
But
I mean, that does, you know, you put out this document and all of a sudden you're a mod where you weren't before. And I don't know that he's a mod. This is what Yogaba thinks. He also says whatever green a green nick means there. So if you have a little green thing next to your name, does that mean that you're a mod? I'm not sure. I'm not positive. So this is the guessing he's making. What did you know? And I kind of want to move to something else, but what did you know about this individual? And thank you for making that distinction. But what did you know about this individual prior to this? Is this an account that has been an existing account for a long time? Is this a new account that was just made? Does this person have any history prior to putting out this 52-page document at all?
The only thing I know of this account is that they were in the Terror Rebels Discord and they got banned from there supposedly, and this is where it goes supposedly. Supposedly the ban was because they were harassing mods and threatening to dox them. I was not able to confirm that because from my understanding, the way that Terror Rebels does things is when they ban you, they clear your recent chat history. So like if you say something super inappropriate, they ban you and then it clears the messages. So I was not able to find that. But that's where it gets a little bit speculation, and I don't know their involvement before that either, if they've been around or what's going on there.
Do you know even on that part of it? Do you know time frame wise? Like how long was that? Was this weeks ago, months ago that they've been in the TR? I mean, how long?
From my understanding, the ban was a day or two before.
But how long had they been posting in? How long had they been posting in TR before all that went down? Like I'm just trying to gauge an idea of how old this account might be, and there's a reason for it.
I see a post in the Terror Rebels Discord right now, back on 9/25/2022, so September 25th, from this individual. But I don't really see many other mentions since then, so I don't know if they cleared like past couple weeks or how they did it, but I see at least something from back then.
I guess in my mind, what I'm thinking is, it's very, I could make, and I'm not saying that I have, but I might just have other accounts that I can go into, people's chat rooms or whatever under, and nobody know it's me, if that's what I wanted to do. And it's pretty simple to do that. So it is a distinction to make that this person was not necessarily a member of TCV. But I guess the point that I'm trying to make is that this has all the markings of people that we have already dealt with. And I think Lunatic Lump Lover will agree to that. It looks very much, the MO is almost identical to things we've already dealt with. So, is there an affiliation? Is there not an affiliation? I don't know. I'm just saying the way it looks, that's the way it looks. That's all I'm saying. So, all right. Now, and I do want to move on, unless there's anything you wanted to add to that, 69.
Well, I know the individual a little bit from the Terraform server, so actually a lot of them have been there before.
Okay.
And a lot of the TCV guys, basically there is a how do you say it in English? I think it's common denominator, right, for all this sort of individuals. Let's say they're all in some way or the other feel betrayed, right? Either betrayed. Or basically are not satisfied with how TR did things for whatever reason. Sometimes it's most of the times, let me say this, it's most of the times not even that they are dissatisfied with TR as an org. It's mostly personal stuff. And I know that because I've been there all the time, right? I've been kind of in the Terrorist Discord most of the day all the time, and witness stuff and talk to a lot of people. And I just have been friends with some of the people that are actually moving over, right? So I've seen what has happened behind the scenes, and it's not always easy for outside people to grasp this, but it's mostly personal, really personal stuff that happens, right? For example, like you said, one of the mods has been mean to you, or you think he has been mean. One of the members has been mean. Maybe you had an idea and you felt like you weren't respected enough. This sort of stuff happens all the time. And then I think that's the common denominator, right? And like you, DJ, I love my not analogies, right?
Yeah.
And I have one for you. I posted it under your tweet. In Germany, we say this: there are people that take advantage of this sort of things when they happen, right? Because it's quite common when you have a group and they come together and they grow, that you at some point have people that are dissatisfied, right? And then you have, it's called Rattenfänger, right? Which means, how's it called? Can you help me, DJ? Die Rattenfänger von Hameln. It's a
I have no idea.
comment under your tweet. What was his name?
It's a comment on one of my tweets?
Yeah, I commented it under the docs tweet. I said, don't fall for the flute of the, I have to Google it.
Oh, the flute of the, I know what you're talking, like the Pied Piper kind of thing, right?
Yeah, exactly, the Piper.
Yeah.
Right, there is a story about this, the Piper, right? And the Piper goes around and catches all these people that are dissatisfied and rallies them behind him. You know what I mean? Okay. And he basically plays on their feelings, right? He plays on the negativity that they have inside of themselves. And he knows how to play the right tunes, so that those people feel encouraged to further embrace their negative feelings, basically, right? And that's what unites them at the end. It's the oldest thing in the world, That's how you can actually make use of individuals that are dissatisfied, and then you basically have a new bunch of people that do a lot of stuff that you might want them to do. That's my opinion on this. To me, it looks like this.
That Pied Piper story is a lot different in Germany than it is here in the United States.
Well, I mean that's the interpretation, right? You if you call somebody a piper here, then you basically referring to this, right?
I got it. I just want to make it clear, and it's already in my description, but I just want to say it anyway. None of us are accusing anybody of anything, because we don't have any, we don't know. I think every one of us are just saying the way that things feel, giving our opinions, saying the way that things appear, because and it's all circumstantial. You know what I mean? So nobody's saying that anybody particularly did anything. It just looks that way. You know what I mean? It might be, it might not.
Well, I mean, look, DJ, let's be honest here, because if you guys don't want to accuse somebody, I will make accusations, not related to the doxing thing. I'm bringing you in trouble.
You're gonna get me in trouble. Go ahead.
Not about the doxing part, right? I'm not saying that the doxing was ordered or whatever. That's not what I'm saying. So let's be clear, right? But you know, I've been in the private DMs and whatever, and I know TCV before it even existed, how it came to life. I've been there. I was asked to be a member from the beginning, right? So I know how it was formed. I know how the separation began. I know all of the stories, and I'm going to make the accusation and say that the founder of TCV is playing on this, just like the Piper stuff that I said. Maybe not related. Let's leave the doxing out for now, because I don't want to make that accusation, right? I don't want to take it that far and say like that he embraced or that he ordered the investigation or whatever. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that because I know how the TCV stuff was founded, that there has been this modus operandi, right? It's part of the strategy, and I'm going to make the accusation now, and I'm going to stick with it because of the stuff that I know from my own experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think we can assert the facts, right? So the facts are the things that we outlined that actually occurred, and then the motive or what's going on behind the scenes, that's where we're making some speculations, we're making assumptions, things like that. Like I just confirmed that individual who made the 52-page document, they have a special role in the TCV Discord now. It does not say mod, it just says a bunch of listed emojis, so not exactly sure what that role means, but now they make a 52-page document and they have a special role in the TCV Discord. So, I mean, I don't know what that means. And then also they joined the TCV Discord on December 11th. So they just joined recently and then instantly started with a document that came out. The document came out on the 13th, I believe. Was it yesterday or the day before? So within 2 days of them joining the Discord, document gets released, and now they have a special role. People can make of that what they want, but those are the facts.
Yeah, that's not a good look at all. Just not a good look. Rex from Terror Rebels, I see you in the chat. Asobs is waving. Okay. Ryan, thanks for being here. Ryan is my mod. Thank you for getting that message out about the, pictures of my sister or whatever. So thanks. I'm glad you guys are here. Asobs, you made a call to arms, I guess, of your fellow YouTubers or influencers or whatever words we wanted to use, right? Did you find that you got the response that you were hoping for?
No, actually, I was pretty disappointed in a lot of other influencers, if I'm being honest, because I know a lot of people who are not doxxed. And I mean, I won't name names actually. But I know other people who are not doxxed who want to preserve their privacy, and I respect that. I want to preserve my privacy as well. And they made no statement because they, in my opinion, they dislike TR. They made no statement about it. I know that they saw that the things happened, and they made no statement against doxing because whatever motive you want to attribute to it, right? But the fact is, I know that they saw it, and I know that they made no statement about it. And I think that's a problem here because it's like, how can we expect our privacy to be protected if we won't stand up for the privacy of others? Like, you can hate Terror Rebels. I can dislike Terra C Vita for things that they've done to me or things that I've seen them do. But like in my video the other day, I called out Rex from Terror Rebels because he put out the one tweet where he had kind of like a laughing emoji showing that Terra C Vita stuff was no longer being used by TFL. And I was kind of like, hey, this is kind of immature. This is not ideal thing to do. It's not a very professional look. Like, you're not even saying anything with it. You're just kind of making fun of them. It shouldn't really be happening. And I called him out for something like that. That's not even something as extreme as doxing. It's like, I'm fine with calling out people I talk with. And if that burns a bridge with Rex from Terror Rebels, and so be it. I don't think it would, because I criticize him a lot privately too, and he knows it. But it's like, people have to be willing to do stuff to stand up. And especially when it's something like doxing, where it's so extreme of like, I want my privacy protected, but I don't like you, so oh, well, I guess they leaked your full name. Whoops, not going to make a call about it. Like, come on, people. You got to, if you want your privacy protected, you got to stand up for the privacy of others, especially when you have a position of influence here. And you don't have to go and hate on Terra Civita. You don't have to go and hate on Terra Rebels. You can just make a statement that doxing is something that we should not accept in our community. Like something as simple as that. And a couple of people did make that kind of a statement. And it's like, that's really all you have to do, especially if you want to protect your own privacy.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I was surprised too. I was very, very surprised that more people didn't come out and take some sort of stand. And I think I said earlier, this might be a bit of a stretch, but have either one of you ever seen Hamilton, the musical?
Yeah, when it first came out,
Right.
yeah.
So what I learned from watching that musical was that Alexander Hamilton was a very outspoken person, wore his heart on his sleeve, and had no problem letting everybody know exactly how he felt. Now his nemesis, in this is historical, I guess, was Aaron Burr, and Aaron Burr was your typical nowadays politician. He wanted to wait to see which way things were going to go before he opened his mouth about anything. He never wanted to take a stand on anything because he was afraid that if he was afraid he might back the wrong horse, right? That he might take a stand in one direction, but everybody else's opinion might be another way, and then he might look bad. And this whole situation has kind of reminded me of that, right? And I'm looking at Asobs here as Alexander Hamilton, right? And coming out and saying, no, I'm going to give you my opinion of this. This is exactly how it went down. These are the facts, and it's wrong, right? And I love that. I love that about you. I love that about anybody who will do that. And then everyone else is like, ooh, no, I don't want to take a side. I don't want to speak on this at all, because if I speak on it, and I'm on the wrong side, then I look bad, and maybe people unsubscribe from me and whatever. I don't know, man. That's just the way it all came off to me, and I was very disappointed, just like you were, that more people didn't really come out and take a stand one way or the other. And even if you're wrong, so what? Take a stand. We're not financial advisors, right? We tell people all the time, you should not be listening to everything we say. Take our opinions, but then build on it from there. Go and get your own resources and do your own DD and make up your own mind as an adult, right? So if I say something today and 2 days from now, I realize maybe I was wrong about it, oh, well, I'll come on and say, hey, listen, this new information came out I wasn't aware of. And I'll tell you right now, I was wrong. I was wrong the first time I talked about it. And I've actually done that. I've done that in my videos, right? And I don't know why everybody can't do that. So it is very, very disappointing to me.
Yeah. And it's like, I had people who reached out to me privately, like, why are you defending Terra Rebels for this thing? And I basically just made it clear, I'm not defending Terra Rebels necessarily. I'm defending against doxing, the act of doxing, because the people were saying, oh, well, this person doxed me. And it's like, great, give me the evidence. I will stand up against that too. Like, I don't care who it's from, who it's against. If people are giving out someone's full name in a malicious effort, or not even maliciously, I guess, but just in general, a full name that is not publicly out there, that's something there should be a statement against that, and a stance against that. And I'm like, I don't care who it's coming from. Show me the evidence. And unfortunately, 4 different people made claims like that, and I received 0 out of 4 of them providing evidence. So it's like, I'm not going to make a statement without evidence, right? I don't want to go out there and say something crazy that I can't back and have confidence in my statement. I want to know I'm confident. And if I'm wrong, based on the information that I have at that time, I'll make a correction. But I want to have something that backs me if I'm going to go call someone out. And it's like they didn't provide that. I saw the TCV one, so I know that's true. I know what was said there. I have the original screenshot. Like, I know all of it. So it's like I feel comfortable making that statement because I know what was said there. And if they say, well, Terra Rebels people, like in that tweet, they said Terra Rebels people are attacking us. Great, provide me that information. I will say Terra Rebels people should not be attacking you. Here's what they said. This is wrong. We should all make a stand against it. It's like just a moral compass really is kind of lacking in the space in a sense, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, very unfortunate. All right, so Rex said he would have to lose a giant bet to get his first tattoo. I don't know what that means. Yeah, tattoo of a dinosaur. That's funny. Rex up for new tattoo and TR meeting. I have some. All right. All right. So whatever happened, right? You know, it is what it is. Where do we go? How do we keep something else from coming up next week or in a couple of weeks? Or how do we prevent the next big catastrophe that everybody's talking about instead of talking about how to move this damn thing forward?
That's a difficult one. And I think it goes back to your point earlier of like the concept that people are taking right now of if you shout the loudest, then enough people will get upset and it doesn't matter whether it's true or false. And right now, those people who are pushing different hateful messages at the least, whether it's true or false, attacking people, that kind of stuff, they're shouting the loudest. And that's where I'm taking the stance recently. Like if you look at my Twitter history, you go back a couple weeks, I wasn't out here calling anybody out for anything. I was, let's go to $1, let's go to the moon, let's have fun, boys. Like let's get excited about the utility coming, IBC, this is great stuff. And then I realized like these other people are tearing people down and they're shouting the loudest. Well, nobody's shouting against them. We got to shout the loudest back in a sense of like, no, here's the truth, and make sure that that truth is heard. And then hopefully through that, people realize, oh, okay, this isn't getting me anywhere to go this strategy. Maybe I'll go down a different strategy and actually go down like more of a honest and true approach instead of this deceitful, manipulative, incorrect approach, in my opinion. And so hopefully like that'll get people to go down the right way. And then also just focusing on positivity. Like I'll call people out, but that's not all I'm doing. I'm also talking about IBC, all this stuff that's coming up, all the different upgrades, V23, what that could bring, how exciting it is that now we have this Terra Rebels proposal where we're going to have this infrastructure that's independent from TFL. We can do a lot more. We could be safer now if there's a immediate upgrade that needs to happen due to a security risk. We don't have to wait for TFL to approve things. Like there's a lot of great things that come out of this. So focusing on some of that also helps of we got to focus too on the good stuff instead of just this constant back and forth.
So accentuate the positive, right?
Yeah.
Rex is kind of saying the same thing. Focus on building instead of attacking other people. Actions always speak louder than words. All sounds good, right? In a perfect world, yeah, let's just concentrate on the positive stuff and it would all go away, right? We're not living in a perfect world. We've tried concentrating on the positive stuff. And here's the thing, Rex, and I've said this before, right? Everybody that you'll ask, how do we get away from all the negativity? Oh, I know everybody needs to stop slandering each other. We all need to get along. Everybody needs to stop talking junk about each other. And then I can tell you, and I'm not going to name names, but I can tell you that I'll get DMs from some of those same people telling me, oh, look out for that one. Don't deal with that one. Don't talk to that one. You don't want to be involved with that one because they're this and they're that and they're the other thing. I don't know how to combat the human nature of trying to be in control, trying to be the top dog. Wanting to be the savior, wanting to be the good guy. And if that means putting everyone else down so that you rise to the top, then that's what you'll do. It's ugly, but I'm seeing it over and over and over again. And I'm not as positive as, some people are that simply, just pumping out all the good stuff, and there's tons of good stuff, right? We all release it in videos all the time. But even with all that happening, we still have kind of these bad actors who, it's the whole slow down to watch it. There's a car crash and the ambulance is there and somebody's laying in the road and traffic stops only because people want to slow down and see it, right? So when they put out all this negative stuff, everybody complains about it. Oh, we need to get away from it, but they can't wait to freaking read it. That's the reality of it. 69, what do you think? How do we move forward?
I don't know, man. It's pretty difficult question because, like you just said, right? If one of the parties is pretty toxic, right? It's not easy to deal with because you can, like Rex said or wrote in the chat, you can focus on yourself, do all this nice stuff, but you will always be thrown a big bag of dirt at, right? Like, so I don't know if the best thing to move forward is like just keep quiet and like keep your head down and keep building, and eventually people will maybe find out that the accusations or claims from the other party might be wrong. Maybe they make mistakes like the recent one, like the doxing, right? That was a huge mistake. That will expose them a little bit, but that's also not really helpful for the space, right? Because if you're coming completely from the outside, it looks like everybody's being negative and whatever. So I don't really know. Maybe, yeah, I don't think I have a solution to this, man. It's a tough question.
Yeah. 69, do you know who this Mr. P is in the chat?
Oh yeah, that's me, man. I'm just
That's
trolling
you?
a little bit in the chat. Yeah, that's me.
See what I mean about coming in with an alias?
Yeah,
Talking about is the most handsome guy I've ever met.
definitely not
right.
biased at all.
I think he's right though.
Do you think he's right? Yeah. I don't know. We've had a lot of conversations, but we've never actually. I've never actually seen your face, but I have seen you sitting next to your girlfriend when you guys were on vacation, and she was smoking, so you must have something going on.
Yeah, man.
All right. Is there a proposal that's out right now, either on Agora that's coming up or anything that's being voted on right now that you think would maybe help us get away from some of this stuff?
Unfortunately, I think it's the opposite. I don't know if you saw what the Toxic Labs proposal was that got put out today. Did you see that, Trev?
I saw it. I didn't read it. I was just kind of in there a minute ago.
Gotcha. It was, for some reason, it was basically a jab at Terror Rebels. It was, oh, well, we're going to launch our Toxic Station, and we're only going to charge the community pool $1 for it because it's just a copy paste, and like going around that narrative.
Okay.
Are you? Let's see here.
Is it on Terra? It's on. Yeah.
Yep, it's up for vote right now.
Right.
Funding Toxic Station.
Yeah. Summary: Toxic Labs DAO launching a wallet called Toxic Station. Oh my God. The purpose of this prop is to receive funding for Toxic Station. Motivation due to the increased dissatisfaction. Uncertainty services, current Rebel Station, Terra Station, Toxic Lab DAO wants to. Are they an actual DAO? Is this some sort of legal entity, or is this on themselves?
I don't know, actually.
Wants to launch their Toxic Station for the community to be used as an alternative proposal through painstaking procedures. TLD, I'll call it, finally finished their Toxic Station and is almost ready for deployment. In contrary to the 937,500,000 LUNC proposal 1130 asked for, we're willing to provide the same services for 5,000 LUNC at a current approximate price of $1. This proposal should be considered as a loan to the equivalent of. What the hell is this about? What is this?
Yeah, I mean, you can click on the Agora too if you want to see it. They provided like a breakdown of the $1 where that money's going, and it's just like, I think it's a troll thing. That's my stance on this. I mean, you can.
I think
make
it's
your
real,
own
man.
opinion.
I think the wallet is pretty much real, and I think they're playing on the fact that people were like basically accusing Terra Rebels of charging $150,000 for a front end application for a wallet, right? Which is grossly inaccurate because you can just ask Toxic Labs, and I know the guys, and I've been friends with them, and I don't want to say. I don't want to accuse them, right? Not like TCB. I'm not going to make accusations, but what I want to say is just ask them which backends do they use for the wallet, right? And that's where they get hung up because the Terra Rebels proposal is actually about, it's not about the wallet mainly, right? The wallet is only a small part of the infrastructure, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my point. And that's my stance on it, right?
Coding 25 cents, code review 25 cents, UI design 25 cents, software costs you 25 cents. Everything else is with compliments. I don't know. I'm not sure what to make of this.
Yeah.
It's a little comical, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, like I almost want it to pass because it's funny. But like at the same point, I get governing should be taken seriously with the governance structure. Like you can make your jokes on Twitter and stuff, and validators really don't appreciate when you make them read proposals that are just total nonsense.
And what is it like it's like $1 million LUNC, right? To put something up on Terra Station to be voted on.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. All right. Anyway, so there was the holacracy thing that didn't really go where they wanted it to go. There's the DEX idea. There's all these, a few different things that are out there. None of these things you think are any kind of solution or any kind of necessarily the path to take, or just more division.
Yeah, I think these current ones have their own unique problems. Holacracy, a big problem I had with that is that you're essentially making a legal organization that is now owned by everyone who owns Tier 1 Classic. At least this is how it was described to me by the people who proposed it. And so now we are joint owners in a common enterprise with the expectation of profits from other people's work, which basically fits into, there's a couple other things, but fits into the Howey test, which defines a security. So now potentially we're defining Tier 1 Classic as security because now we own part of this corporation, which brings in.
Yep. You froze up a little bit there, Asobs. I don't know if you can hear me. 69, are you still with me?
I'm still there, man. I think
Okay,
he's.
sorry.
I think Asobs has connectivity issues, so maybe
Yeah,
I can also comment on the.
Yeah, go ahead. While he gets it back together, I thought maybe it was me. That's why I was making sure you're still there. But it's apparently something with his connection. So while he gets that together, why don't you go ahead?
Yeah, man. So look, I'm not totally against some structure, right? And there has been also the idea of a Senate kind of thing floating around in the Terra Rabbits Discord.
A Senate?
Sorry?
A Senate? Is that what you said?
Yes, a Senate, right? Like a group of people that would basically have some sort of oversight.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Terra Grant Foundation is going a little bit in that direction, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that some of the main devs or the founders of Terra Rabbits, they would be kind of supportive of this sort of idea. However, the holacracy thing in its, let's say, current form, how it was put up in governance for voting and whatever, it's pretty big, right? It's a big structure on top of the normal existing governance, right? And I've discussed this with the proposer, or with one of the main supporters. I don't know if he's the main proposer. I don't think so, but he's the guy
Sam,
behind
are you
it.
talking about Sam or?
No, Jerry. I talked with Jerry about it.
Yep.
And I think Jerry is like a nice guy. He's reasonable. He has good ideas. I think, but I've discussed this with him, and I said I'm not a huge fan of the holacracy for us to put it on top of the governance, because I think it's a little bit too much. It gives a little bit too much power in the hands of individuals and forces a decentralized chain into a certain structure, which I wouldn't really like to see.
Yeah.
So what I would like, it's not that I don't like the concept, right? Some of the concepts of the holacracy thing, it's awesome, actually. I like it. I just don't want to see it put above the governance. However, if we have some sort of Senate, some lightweight structure to start with, which represents the different fractions that we have, I think validators should be part of it, devs should be part of it, maybe community members should be part of it. And we also had this idea in the beginning, right? We had this triangle between the validators, developers, and the community. If we could get something like this going, I think that would make sense for everybody. But I don't think right now is the right moment to enforce this, if you get what I'm saying. I think we have to kind of grow into this over time.
Yeah. Yeah, I had Sam on, and we chatted for quite a while about his proposal. And I agree with you. There were some things about it that I thought were interesting. Very, innovative and could potentially work in the right circumstances. But there were a couple of things that I had a problem with. But honestly, the main thing that I had a problem with is that it had never even been tried in a cryptocurrency structure before. Asobs is back. Welcome back.
Rugged.
Yeah, I thought you rugged us for sure. It had never been tried before in cryptocurrency, and I just wasn't really keen on having Terra Classic LUNC be the guinea pig for that experiment, but yeah, there were some other things that I wasn't crazy about either. But I'm happy. I'm always happy that people are trying to come up with ideas. I think that's great, that everybody's involved and trying to think of ways to actually move this thing forward. I just don't like that, as soon as somebody comes out with something, somebody on the other side is like, no, that sucks, that's horrible, because they want you to go with their idea, So maybe part of what, I don't know if you missed any of this, Asobs, but 69 was talking about, something that's been floating around in the chat is something about like some sort of Senate having just a group of individuals who would, have whatever powers they would have. I suppose that would be dictated, by the community or allowed by the community. But I've been calling for the same thing for a while now. Me personally, I absolutely think we need leadership.
Yeah.
And that's not to take away from the decentralization and to say, let's put the whole thing in the hands of these few people and then sit back and let them do their thing. I mean, we still vote on this and that and the other thing and kind of give them permission to do the things they want to do. But we also have to give them some level of control that they can, because if they've got to ask us for every single thing, every single choice that they have to make, or every single thing that they want to do, then what's the point of them? We have that now, you know what I mean? Governance, we just vote on every single thing. So, but I think we need leadership and I think that the leadership would hopefully would blaze a path and come up with an actual structure for us. I would hope that maybe we would elect these people. There would be people that would be elected by the community, so that it's nobody that's being appointed and all of a sudden I'm in charge or we're in charge. I think the community wouldn't allow that, but I think that they might go for voting for some people. The Eds and the Zaradas of the world, I think would be easy votes, and there are some other guys out there, right?
Yeah.
And as long as we maintained some sort of ability to vote people the hell out if we really needed to, I think that's the way to go. And if we had that, it wouldn't matter about all these other factions doing this, that, and the other thing, because they would be in place they would be people that we trust, that we voted in place to take everybody's information and narrow it down to what actually makes sense and what's actually doable. I mean, that's just kind of off the top of my head kind of thing, but that's
I think something like that could make sense as like a checks and balance essentially to the validator structure we have right now, because validator structure, you have it not weighted each person equals one vote, it's each Terra Luna Classic equals one vote, and so those who have more Terra Luna Classic have higher voting power, and that's where you see like the different, like all nodes, for example, has huge sway because they have a ton of Terra Luna Classic staked with them. And so they're able to have a large sway into what happens, a disproportionate to other validators. And so maybe you keep that structure as one way of doing some stuff for actual voting on proposals, but then maybe you have a separate structure that then is, like you're saying, a Senate, where maybe it's each Senate representative has an equal weight in the voting process. And then from there, you have that as like your checks and balances. That way, you make sure that things generally make sense. And I think that could make some sense. And you'd want to, I think another thing that I got rugged there before I could say it, but with like holacracy as an example, problem I have with that is that you're structuring it with employees, which then means now we own this company that has employees. We're opening ourselves up to employment law issues potentially as a blockchain, which is something that really hasn't been experienced before. And would be something I don't really want, like you were mentioning, don't really want to be the guinea pig for that kind of a thing. And so with the Senate, you'd want to have like contracted work where these are contract people. And like you said, we could fire them at any time. We can replace them at any time because they're not employees. You don't have to worry about the employment law issues around firing, removal, all that. It'd be contracted individuals who do some small amount of work every week. Maybe that's how we do like a KYC verification is an idea. Like when people want money from the community pool, we have some KYC process that goes through the Senate. That way they don't have to dox publicly because we've seen how that can turn out into a mess. But that way we also have the assurance that they're taking money from the community pool and they're not just going to run away with $150,000 or whatever it is.
Right. Yeah. And a lot of this was kind of Ed's proposal that never really came to fruition because this was back when we were trying to figure out how to get that 4.16 million and so that was part of his proposal. Nobody wanted any part of it because nobody wanted to be a signer. But if you took that part of his proposal out, everything else was pretty much what you were just saying, and he had taken into account a bunch of people's proposals and, some things that I had said, some things that other people had said, and put together something really, really nice. I've reached out to him about it. I wonder if that could kind of be revamped. Maybe, I don't know. What does anybody want to do about this multi-sig wallet right now? Are we kind of all agreeing maybe we should just forget about that, or do we still want to get that? What's the deal?
We have a proposal that's passed in this regards. We have 10.9.36, I think it is.
Yeah.
Which says there should be, but I don't know the current status. I was actually going to talk with one of the proposers, like what the status is. I know that they have been kind of waiting, I think, for the other proposals, like version 3, 4, 5 from the rabbi. I don't think he's a rabbi, but his nickname is at least rabbis or whatever.
I have no idea. I like the guy, but I don't know what he is.
Yeah, we have like a hate-love relationship kind of thing.
Yeah, we do too. That's why
you guys were fighting earlier.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, really?
Yeah, LLL69 and Rabbi were going at it in the Discord earlier. I was telling him to calm down, and he just kept going.
Yeah, I'm here to call. This is my timeout from the rabbi actually here.
Yeah.
No, but so he was trying to override the existing prop, and there were certain things I liked about his proposal, but whatever. So there is one that's passed right now, and which aims to send back the assets to the community pool, which means they must be sold somehow, I guess. And it should also include some sort of legal review, right? Whether we can actually use the assets, whether they're free from any sort of like
liability or whatever.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
But I don't know what the current status is on this, so I have to research myself.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't give a damn what we do with that money, to be honest with you. If everybody just totally forgot about it and said, "No, we don't want any part of it," I'd be fine with that. I don't think we need it. I think it would be great to have. If it were free from all issues and problems and legalities, sure, why wouldn't it be great to have? But until we know that for sure, I couldn't care less about it. I don't, if we get it, don't get it, or whatever. I don't think we need it. It's not like if we don't get it, all of a sudden the chain isn't going to go on. We didn't even know that it was available until Alex had those conversations. So
I wonder if it was an experiment, like when it started and stuff, there was so much debate about it that I was at some point like, maybe the guys that are actually holding the wallet, maybe it's a social experiment for them, to see like how the community would actually act You throw something in and then you just watch how everybody's fighting about it, because it
Oh, goodness.
pretty
Don't
much
put-
turned into that at
Don't
some
put
point.
that idea in anybody's heads. I can see the headlines in Twitter tomorrow now. You know what I mean? I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know what the deal is with it. And like I said, I don't know. I'm more concerned with, the things that we need, that we can do to move forward, and some of the things we were just all talking about as far as, some sort of leadership or whatever. I would like to see that conversation be held in a lot more circles, because I it's just my opinion, but I don't personally think that just staying with a 100% vote on every single thing that comes up, I don't see how that really gets us moving in a forward direction, because one proposal will come up and everyone will vote for it. And just like the 1.2% burn tax, after a few weeks, it doesn't work. Here comes another proposal to take us in another direction. And then we're just going in circles. So, I think we need a team to point us in one direction and keep us moving forward. It's just my opinion. Some people might disagree with me. So what do we got going on in the chat? Grizzly Bear says, hello. At first, I thought he was saying hello SOBs, but I think he meant to say Asobs and forgot the A. So
Same
hello
thing.
to me, hello. Yeah. Had asked if that's Zaradar. I guess 69, you sound like Zaradar to some people. If it was Zaradar, he would be showing his face and he would be up walking around the whole damn time I was trying to talk to him.
Oh my gosh.
Which is what he does, right? No, that's lunatic LUNC lover 69 or triple L 69. You really gotta shorten that, bro. Let's just go with LL 69.
I mean, some people called me Mr. 69. Maybe that's a nice
Mr.
name.
69. All right.
Pretty nasty.
Whatever floats your boat, bro. All right. Grizzly Bear William. What happened to V23? What happened to V23?
Still in the works. The bid proposal, or the full bid, the full proposal price is being finalized. That's going to be put off though until after this infrastructure gets done. So the infrastructure is going to be priority number one. They're going to try and grind that out in 2 months to get all the infrastructure for Rebel Station now, which will be made open source, so Terra Station or anything else can use it. And then from there, then V23 is going to be circled back upon.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Good. All right, guys. Thank you very much, both of you, for being here, for letting me pick your brain about some things. This was a pleasure, and I hope that maybe we can get together and do it again. But I would really like to see this conversation continue on in some different circles, figuring out what we need to do to keep moving and progressing forward, and not letting all of this drama be this anchor, around our necks, holding us down, maybe making some people leave, maybe preventing some other people from coming in. It is essential that we get away from it, and we call out these bad actors for what they are, and try to get them the hell out of this community, because we don't even need them if that's the way they're going to act, So, straighten up, fly straight, and come along the ride with us, So Asobs, thank you very much. It was a pleasure meeting you. It was the first time we've actually talked face to face. And
yeah, thank you for having me. It's been great. I appreciate it.
Yeah, my pleasure. I would love to have you on again. Anytime you want to chat, you know what I mean? Just hit me up in a DM. 69. I'm sure we'll be talking again soon, my friend, right?
Yeah, for sure, man. We can also have a private video call, so you can also see my face. And if somebody
told me
claims
that for months, you're full of crap. He told, it's probably 5 months ago he told me the same thing. I ain't seen him yet.
Oh man.
Yeah,
I mean, we can, because there will probably be somebody who's going to accuse me of scamming people and then claiming I'm somebody else. So then you can have my back, man.
Grizzly Bear thinks that you might be Zaradar, so I guess we're gonna have to prove that you're not. All right, guys, thank you very much. I hope everyone has a wonderful night, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Sounds good. See ya.
All right, gentlemen. Ciao.